Start with the question, guys. We'll be discussing the 10 minutes, okay? Give me a few minutes, guys. I'll be back. Okay, just give me a moment. Wait.
Okay, we can start now. Extremely sorry for the delay. Let's start up with some works. Put me on the video. Okay, hi guys. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry. I was caught up with some works. Yes, good evening. Walaikum salam. Yeah, I was doing some works. Why should we raise our hands? If you're done with the question, you raise your hands. Okay, fine. Let's start. Thank you, Omar. Okay, let's start. Not bad. Attendance today is very beautiful. I never expected such a number to come. Let me increase this crowd for a moment. Different background, that's because I'm in the academy. I'm in the blue classroom. Yeah, I'm in the yellow academy. Okay, let's start. You said one of some class, no, these are one of them. The paper class is different. Yes, I can imagine. Okay, let's start. So I gave a very easy database question. Let's check your answer. By the way, what you called, when I'm asking you all questions in general, post your answers which I ask in general in the main chat with this. And if you have any personal questions to ask like doubts, then you can drop in the chat, okay? Radhika will be posting those details tonight, actually. Good to know. Yeah, let's start. So they have given two tables here. One is a student's table, other one is a marks table. And the first question they've asked there, state the suitable data type for each fields in the marks table. Is my voice echoing? Answer the main set, like the comment set. After we are posting. Yes, not much. It'll on that, then if I on that, it'll start echoing. Give me a moment. Okay, on the AC, mostly on the AC stuff. Okay. Fine. So state the suitable data type for each field in the marks table. Perfect. Let me open the notes as well so I can write here. Loading. Only HTML. Sorry. Yeah. So if you take what you call the database lesson, one of the topics you all learn there is something called as the data types. Okay. And if you take data types, in database. Okay, you learn database, you learn data types under two lessons. You learn data types under the programming lesson, and also you learn data types under database lesson. So here we are talking about data types under database. So keep in mind that data types and this data type, they are two different things. Okay, so you talk about data types, what do you call there is a data type we have. It is used to specify only numbers. It can be a whole number, it can be a decimal number. For those we use a data type called numeric or number. Numeric or number. This means we are defining about a whole number or decimal number. It can be any type of number. Then if you want to have a person's name or email address, basically a collection of characters like letters, numbers, symbols, a mixture of all of them. So if you're going to have a mixture of all of them, we consider them under the category as text. So text means it can be a name, it can be considered letters, numbers, symbols, anything. Okay. Then if it's going to contain only a date or only a time or a date and time, then those types of data type we call as a date time data type. So this is another data type we have. Apart from this, there is another data type we use to store the values of true and false. Only true or else false. Either it should be true or else it should be false. That one we call it as something known as Boolean. And then apart from all of this, there is one more. What am I missing? Date time, text, numeric, Boolean. Something I'm missing. What am I missing? No, currency. Sorry, currency. Yes, the other one is currency. So if you're going to deal with any numbers, not just numbers, numbers with values. Like for example, the numbers with units, like 200 rupees, 200, dollar 200, or the number apart from the value. That means apart from the number, if you want to have the currency unit as well, those kind of values we consider them as currency. Like for example, rupees 300 or else dollar 550. So when you're having the number with a symbol, those are called currency. So these are the data types we have in a database management system. For example, Microsoft Access. So the question is asking the data types we have for each field in the marks table. So we go over the marks table, that is this table. First of all, tell me the marks table has how many fields? How many fields are there in marks? Drop your answer in the main chat. Don't send me personal chat. Drop on your answer here, okay? Someone called Master IT is there. Well, that's fine. I don't mind about it. Exactly. There are four fields. So these the what you call every column in a table normally call them as fields. So this is one field, this is another field, this is another field, and this is another field. These are four fields of a table. Okay, the tables, the what each table are going to store, these are fields. Okay, like the columns are the fields. Now we have to specify what are the data types for each of these fields. If you look at the values they are holding, based on these values, you can decide the suitable data type. So look at these, what you call a field known as admission number or AD underscore number, and tell me what is the most suitable data type for AD number based on what I told you here. Correct. For AD number, the most suitable data type is going to be numeric or as number. So for what you call the first question answer, for admission number, it has to be number or else numeric. You can just mention number, that's fine. Okay. What is a suitable data type for that index number field? Correct. Apart from numbers, you can see, apart from numbers, there's a letter used here as well. You can see the letter B is there. Okay. So if you take number or numeric, this can store numbers only. Okay. But if you take the letter B, is letter B a number? No, letter B is a letter. So therefore, if you want to store a collection of different characters, for that we use a data type known as text. Okay. That's the reason number is wrong there, because we have the letter B there. Correct. When we use integer and real and all that, that is coming called the data types in programming. That's why I said you have data types you learn in two places. One place you learn data types in database, the other place you learn data types in programming. So under the programming lessons, actually from language to language, the data type changes. So you all are learning under programming, you all are learning only the data types we have in Pascal. From other programming languages, it can vary. Not that everything will change, but it can vary. So in Pascal only we have something called string, char, then we have integer, we have boolean, and we have real. Okay, these are the five that we have Pascal. That's completely different. That's not regarding database. Correct? Again, what is a suitable data type for the total marks field? Perfect. For that also, number is the most suitable data type because all of the values are going to be just values. Okay. What is the most suitable data type for the term field? Perfect. That also has to be number or else numeric. So in answering the questions, your answers has to be not only just mention the data type, you have to mention the field name and the respective data type. If you mention like this correctly, put half marks each. So if you have any questions, you can drop your questions or doubts in the chat. Others mark your answers. Okay. Next, Roman number 2. You drop your answer chat, I'll answer you gradually. Why? Suggest a suitable primary key for both the tables. Okay. So normally if you take primary key, this primary key will define the unique field of the table. Now, out of all the fields we have, which field is going to contain or which collection of fields is going to contain only unique values. Basically values that doesn't repeat. If you take the students table, you can see there's a value column called name, there's a column called date of birth, there's a column called address, there's a column called gender. Practically, in a school, can two people have the same gender? Is it possible? In a school, can there be two students the same gender? Obviously, yes. Now, if you take a classroom itself, in the classroom, there'll be around 40 students who are boys, 40 students who are girls. All those 40 students are going to be having the same gender. These 40 students are going to have the same gender. So, school, yes, there can be several students the same gender. So, is choosing gender as a primary key suitable? Is choosing, here you go, is choosing what you call data? No, it is not suitable. Similarly, if you go and check what you call the address field, address is also, you might know, if you take address, can two students have the same address? What do you think? Practically, can two students have the same address? Yes, there are two situations where two people can have the same address. What is it? When they are apart from twins, there's another one as well. Exactly. Either they are twins or is siblings. Sometimes cousins also all live together, but mostly with twins or with cousins, sorry, with siblings, you all have the same address. So address is also not suitable. Date of birth again, it can repeat. Sometimes it can be twins, or there can be two different students. Or, school, sometimes you might notice, apart from you, on your same day, there could be a teacher also born, another student also born. Okay, date of birth is not unique. Name. Can name be something that is unique? Again, no. If I go in this particular attendance list in the class itself, I'll be finding two or three students the same name. So name also, no, it can repeat. Okay. But in your school, you have the admission number, right? Is admission something that will repeat? Will there be two students with the same admission number? No, there will not be two students the same admission. So the students table, the most suitable field for the primary key is admission number. So when you're writing the answer, always mention the field name and table name both. So you have to mention admission number or else AD underscore number in admission in students table. You have to mention the field name and the table name both. If not, your answer is wrong. Good. Next, the marks table. In the marks table, We are going to store, first of all, before you find out the answer, first of all, what are we going to store in this table? In the marks table, we are going to store every student's, what do you call the marks for the respective term. So you can see, let's see what are the repeating data. There is 101 B3, 101 B3, 101 B1, 102 B5, 103 B5, 102 B5, B3. What is index number? Marks is actually. Okay. So here they have marks. I think total marks mean they are referring to, I guess, all subjects, not a particular subject. And then this is a 11150, 11150, same student. So you can see this is one student, and that same student's marks will be there at the bottom as well. The same student called 11150, his marks is there here. Let me check the meaning of index number. Wait. Apart from that, there is another student called 11152. The same 11152's marks is there here as well. Perfect. Okay. So in the first term exam, he goes as 102B5. Next 103B5. In the first term exam, B3, B3. Okay. So I think index number is something that's going to be unique for every exam. Based on the given data, okay, based on the given data, it looks like what you called, I don't know, based on what I feel, okay, based on what I feel, here they have mentioned five, that's Meena. Okay, there is no connection with the letter B. Based on the given data, what I feel like is for every exam, they're going to get a unique index number. Okay, because you can see there is no index number that's repeating. And you can see the highlighted people are there, right? The yellow color highlighted and green color highlighted, they're talking about same people. So you can see 11150. That is basically Meena. Yeah, the person called Meena, when she was doing her first term exam, her index number was 101B3. When she was doing her second term exam, her index number was 102B3. So I think that B3 is common, but for the first term, it's going to be 102, second term 103. I think that's how it's going to change. So based on the given data, it looks like the index number is unique. Are there any index number that's repeating based on the given data? No, there is nothing repeating. But apart from the given data, are there any ways we could feel like, are there any situations based on the given data, apart from the given data, based on the given columns and fields and all those stuff, is there a way you can think like index number can repeat? Is there any instincts giving you all the index number can repeat? Because I don't get anything. Is enough for getting any perspectives like, yes, the index number can repeat? But if I write a composite primary key, I don't think there is a composite primary key. You can directly go for primary key. Yeah. Okay. So there is nothing. It doesn't look like what you call the index number is going to repeat. So therefore, in the marks table, the primary key is going to be, that's correct. Okay. The primary key in the marks table is going to be index number. Index number is going to be the primary key here. But keeping that thing aside, just, okay. Now this is too easy question actually. Tell me if the index number field was not there. It is repeated already. Where is it repeated? Show me where it's repeated. This is row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, row number 4, row number 5, row number 6. What are the rows the index number is repeating? Not exactly. No need those. Where is it repeating, man? Which one? Where is the index number repeating? There's 101 B3, here's 102 B3. There's 102 B5, here 103 B5. Here 2, here 3. Where is it repeating? I don't see anything repeating. Exactly. So because the index number doesn't look like repeat, because I just checked with the same student as well. You can see The highlighted people, same student. So the same student, when he's doing the first term exam and second term exam, you can see there are two different values. So there is no repetition. So if you wrote the admission number here for 1 mark, index number in marks will be 1 mark. If you are finding the primary key, you will first of all find with one field. Only if you can't find the primary key with one field, you have to go for 2 or 3 fields. So if you wrote index number and this, index number and that, no marks. Only one field can. Is it correct? Can't we put index number plus admission number? No. Always, finding primary key, start with the smallest. Only if you can't with one field, you go for 2 field. Only if you can't with 2 field, you go for 3 field. That's how it goes. You have to go in ascending order. You can't directly jump. Even if it repeats to students, this is primary key. It's only for the student. When it repeats for the same student, it is not repeating for the same student. But index number is repeating, right? Where is it repeating? Point it. Don't just come and it's repeating. Show me that. I know the row numbers there. Tell me what are the rows repeating. The blue color left side corner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tell me what are the rows repeating, and I'll tell you whether it repeats or not. If it repeats, you can't. It can't. The primary key can't. No more. Then for the fourth one, how can we get the index number? Yeah, 102 B3. Exactly. For the third term, why should you figure out the term exam? These are given values. No? Have they asked you to figure out it? No. Maybe if the same student is doing the third term exam, maybe my guessing based on the given data, my guessing is if he's doing the third term exam, his index number might be 103 B3. Is my guessing. Because that's how it looks like. I can't assure that, but that's how it looks like. Why should you guess, man? Have they asked you to guess it? Have they asked you to enter your record here? Just answer what they ask. Simple. Exactly. Man. No, it's a little bit. I got it this wrong. What's the answer? The ones what I gave marks for. That's right. There's no other answers. There's no. If there's extra answer, I will mention. The only possible answer is index number in the marks table. And I quickly under back. Roman number 3. State a foreign key with the table name for the above database. Okay, always will take a foreign key. Foreign key is a something of another table. Another table is what? Normally for foreign key, in another table it will be a exactly. Always a foreign key will be another table's primary key. Another table's primary key. Right? So how you find foreign key is very easy. First of all, you have to find the primary key. What are the primary keys we have? The primary keys we have are admission number in the student's table and index number in the marks table. Now I told you foreign keys are primary keys of another table. Okay. Now tell me this index number field. Do we have this index number field in any other tables? Do I have this index number field in another table? No. So therefore, there is no foreign keys for that fellow. Do I have this admission number field in another table? Yes. I have this now. Admission number here is a primary key, right? I have this primary key fellow. This admission number. I have it as another field, right? In which table is it there? I have it somewhere else referenced. It's mentioned in which table? Exactly. You can see admission number is mentioned in the marks table as well. So when a primary key is mentioned in another table, in the other table it becomes what key? When a primary key is referenced or mentioned in another table, the other table becomes a perfect. In the other table, it becomes a foreign key. So how you find foreign keys? First of all, find the primary key and then see, is this primary key there in another table? If it's there, then perfect. So answer there is going to be admission number in the marks table. If you don't mention the table name, your answer is wrong. Huh? The field name, table name, both has to be there. Only if both of these are there, you get marks. Put 1 mark there. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Correct. Next, Roman number 4. The Roman number 4, they are saying, Sanun got 800 marks for the third term exam. Okay. No half marks. No. For the third term exam. So Sanun has got 800 marks for the third term exam. When entering this to the database, which tables should be updated? Okay. First of all, look at the students list and tell me, the fellow called Sanun, is he a new student or existing student? New or existing? Sanun. Exactly. If you look at the database properly, you can see there's a fellow called Sanun already. So are there any changes we have to do for students table? No, there is no changes to be done for the students table. Perfect. There is no changes to be done in students table. So because there is nothing relevant to marks mentioned in students table. Then what is the table we have to update to include that the fellow called Sanun got 800 marks for the third term exam in total? Exactly, marks table. Now, marks table, the first, so the one of the table, so the answer for the first question is going to be marks table. So we update the marks table. Okay. The second question is saying, how do you insert the update record in the table? They ask me what are the data that has to be added here. Okay. I'll show it. To show how the insert record is, first of all, you have to mention the table name. So you mention first of all the marks table mention karla. You mention arrowhead, and then in brackets you mention every field value. In the marks table, the first field contains admission number. Is there any we can find Sanun's admission number? Is it a data we already know? Yes. If you look at the students table, you can find it. What is Sanun's admission number? Perfect. His admission number is 11151. You can see I've highlighted that here. So you can directly go and mention, okay, Sanun has his admission number is 11151. Second column is containing index number. Now, have they in the question, have they given the index number as a data for us? No, they have not given the index number as a data. But if you carefully observe the database properly, you can see I highlighted the yellow color person twice because yellow color person is talking about, you can see the yellow color highlighted person is, these two yellow color highlighted record is talking about the same person. Okay, the first record you can see 150, the 11150, which means who is 11150? 11150 is what you call Meena. This was talking about Meena, but this was talking about Meena. If you go and see, are they the exact same thing? No. The first one is talking about her mark for the first term exam. The second one is talking about her marks in the second term exam. Now, if you try to find a connection between this, when Meena was doing her first term exam, her index number was 101B3. When Meena was doing her marks for the second term exam, her index number was 102B3. Okay. So if you keep this aside, for example, let's keep this regarding Meena. Now, if you look at the green color highlighted record, that's us talking about the same student. For example, you can see this is talking about 11152. It is Devi. So this is talking about Devi's second term exam, and this is talking about Devi's third term exam. So you can see Devi had done her exam also second term, third term. In her second term exam, her index number was 102B5. This was her index number, the second term exam. When she did her third term exam, it was 103B5. Likewise, if you look at everyone here, you might notice there's something common. Okay? You can see between the first term index number and second term index number, there's a small difference. This third digit is being changed. Third digit is being changed. And you can see it's corresponding to the exam they're doing. See, first term exam 1, second term exam 2, second term exam 2, third term exam 3. Let's cross check this and see, is it actually true for everyone? We check only the highlight record. No. Let's see the high record we did not highlight, is that was matching. Here it's number 1, here the third digit is 1. That means the pattern is correct. Here is number 3, third digit is 3. Here is number 3, third digit is C. So that means, is there a pattern in assigning index number? Can we see a pattern in how the index number is being assigned? Like, is it a pattern which you can see? Yes. Now, based on this pattern, tell me, the fellow called Sanun, that's the 11151 Sandun is 11151. He is this fellow. If I'm going to highlight the pink color highlighted row. When Sandun did the first term exam, okay, when Sandun did the first term exam, Sandun's index number was actually 101B1. So if this was his first term exam, now we are talking about the third term exam. What do you think his third term index number would be? If first term is 101, third term it should be? Exactly. Third term it should be 103B1. Because I told you third digit is corresponding to the exam they're doing. First term is number 1, second term number 2, third term you can say number 3. So we can make a guess. Again, the guess we can make based on the data we analyzed. So based on the data you analyze, you can make a guess. This has to be his index number. Right? Is that clear, all of you? Understood? If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Huh? So then based on that, I go and write here that his index, second column, I go and mention that his index number is going to be, good job, 103B1. So always try to figure out a pattern. Like first of all, see is the data given. If the data is not given, see is there a pattern. Go and see if it's a primary key, there should be a pattern somewhere. So you see the pattern, you can figure out the data. Then third field is talking about the marks. Here they mentioned the mark is 800. Fourth field is talking about the term. So it's a third term exam. So this is how you show that record. I wrote we should update index number, marks, and term. How do you insert the? We had to update the index number 10. You have to mention the values. When they ask how do you insert the, or if they are show the updated record, this is how you show it. So 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this. Okay. Can't we take 101B1? How can we take 101B1? We have mentioned that it's a primary key now. Can a primary key repeat? They are asking on the table, right? The first question is table. Second question is asking how do you insert the update record to that table. So they are asking you to show how you're going to insert that record. So when they ask how to show, that's how you show it. Should we mention the field names? No, field name is not required. Give me a moment. I have to the laptop charge. Wait. No, the field name is not required. Just what I like. Just how I mentioned. It's right. I wrote like go to marks table and enter the admission number, index number, marks, and the relevant term. No. Just now finished. So the only way you could get marks is like this. There's a different way you could draw the table, like, but the point is you have to show the values. Without showing the values, you will not get marks. So do the corrections in the answer. Then question number 5. The question number 5 they have said, briefly describe, is it not compulsory to draw the column and table? Tell me which past paper has mentioned draw the column and table. Show me one past paper. One past paper from 2016 to 2024. Show me one past paper which is also draw the tables. Brackets are compulsory. Not compulsory, but for me it's compulsory. Let's show you that because that will show the need. It's called encapsulation. Draw it. Is it wrong if you add fields also? If you are adding fields, it is not suitable, but they would give marks. If you're adding fields, you mention like this then. Like admission number, dash, 11151, comma, index number, and arrowhead. That is not a suitable way. If you want to get marks for now, but don't do that in the exam. Can you explain how you got the index number? I mean the new one. I told you, man. See, there's a pattern there. The third digit is talking about which exam they're doing. So first term exam, third digit will be 1. Second term exam, the third digit will be 2. See, Devi also the same. Devi second term exam it was 2. In third term exam, Devi's index number had 3 as a third digit. So third digit is talking about the index number in the exam term. Okay. So if you take the person called Sandun, when Sandun did his first term exam, which I had a pink color here. When Sandun did his first term exam, his index number was 101B1. So when he's doing the third term exam, then the third digit should be 3. So that's how I guessed it. That is index number has to be 103B1. Got it? Okay, question number 5. Briefly explain data duplication and data redundancy separately. So data duplication is where the same data is repeated in the same table. Okay, so I'll write that here as data duplication is where the same record is repeated multiple times in the same table. Okay, in the same table, if the same data is again repeated, we call it as data duplication. Okay, so the main point is it has to be the same record. That means the same row is repeated more than once in the same table. So the same record is repeated in the same table. We call this as data duplication. Okay, repetition of data in the same table. Repetition of data name, repetition of a record. So for example, are you calling this data duplication? You can see index number 11150 is here, 11150 is here. Are you calling this as a data duplication? The answer is wrong. So if you mention repetition of the same data, that's it's not about same data being repeated. It's about the same record being repeated. If the whole record is not repeated, it's not duplication. Okay, so same record repeating only. These are the keywords. Huh? If your answer had this part called same record, repeated, same table. Or else same record repeated. Yeah, the three keywords has to be there. If you have mentioned same record repeated, only these two keywords, then half marks. If you mention the part same table as well, then you get 1 mark. Okay, if your answer has only that part called same record repeated, you get half mark. If it's same data repeated, no marks, 0 marks. Huh? If it's same record repeated, half marks. If same record repeated, same repeated. All three keywords are there, then 1 mark. Creating a same record as a creating a same record, same as a real record. Wrong. It's not creating the same record. Data duplication is same record is being repeated. Same data is being repeated in the same table. Wrong. Again, I'm telling you, if you have mentioned the word called same data, it's wrong. It's not about same data. Really, the easy example I can give you is here. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Sorry, guys, it was an important work related call. I couldn't cut it. I was going to cut it, but I don't need the answer calls, but just important. Sorry. Yes. Yeah, so that's what data duplication is, huh? Yeah, answer all the doubts as well. I didn't miss anything. No, not academic related problem. If it's academic related problem, academic related problem. Not related problem. Can we only write just the same record is repeated in the same table? Yeah. Write it a bit elaborative, like data duplication is where the same record is. Killer lesson clear anything. But if you're going to give someone a book, okay, will you just go and just give the flower like that to that person? No, no. We'll wrap it in nice wrapping paper. You put lot of flowers together. Give it like, no. Like giving the answers, don't just give the keywords directly. Give it a bit more professional. Okay, next. Yeah, yeah. I don't give anything. And I don't tell lies to anything. I don't know about you. Data duplication means a copy of data repeated to another. No, I said no, it's not copy of data. It's not data being repeated. It's record being repeated. Or if you had mentioned the collection of the same data in a record, again, the word record is stupid. The record, you can't tell it. The word record has to be there. Exactly. See, Umar is speaking with experience. He's like, when he sends the book, he also puts a letter inside his lesson clear. Not a letter. Nothing you don't get the marks. Maybe. But, and then explain data redundancy. So data redundancy is where the same data is stored in multiple tables. Okay. Data redundancy is where the same data is stored in multiple tables unwantedly. The word unwantedly is not compulsory, but better add the word called unwantedly. But here the main keywords are same data, multiple tables. Like for example, you can see what do you call the admission number is there. Right? We have the admission number field in the students table as well as the marks table. So for example, I'm recording the admission number here also, there also. But that is a needed repetition. If the data is not mentioned in both the places, what do you call it won't be easy for me to do my task. But tell me, apart from admission number, let's say I'm going to store the name of the student as well. Is it a good practice to store the name of the student in students table as well as marks table? In both the places, is it good to store the student's name? When I'm storing the marks, them same record repeated multiple. No, it's not same record. It's about same data. Repeating of same data again and again. That's data. That is not data duplication. No. You can repeat same data table. Yes, it should be different tables. That's what data redundancy is. So when you start writing poems. Okay, no, you can't give, tell me what's the problem. No, there's a problem. There's a problem you can face when you're having the name in the students table as well as marks table. The problem you can face, let's say they're changing their name. Let's say Meena is changing her name to something else. Okay. So when you're updating the name, you're going to update multiple tables. That's an unwanted work. Now, for example, let's say Meena is changing her address or Meena is changing her date, gender. That doesn't happen in Sri Lanka. But let's say Meena is changing her address or Meena is changing her name. How many tables we're going to update? If that person called Meena is changing her address or changing her name, how many tables are you going to update at the moment based on a given database? Exactly. Based on a given database, we're going to update only the students table. But imagine we're going to store the student's name and address in both the tables. We're going to store the address and name here also. We're going to store the address and name here also. That is where data redundancy is. In these tables, is there data duplication or data redundancy? No. There is no data duplication. There is no data redundancy. I mean, there is data redundancy. Like, for example, here also you have admission number stored. Here also we have admission number stored. Indirectly, that is data redundancy. But we don't consider that as data redundancy. Why we don't consider data redundancy is because here, recording the admission number here and recording the admission number here, it's actually important. Because without recording the admission number in both the places, Can we form a connection between them? Can we form a relationship between them? Can we form any connections like any some sort of like for example, if we take a marks, if you don't have that index number fields, admission number field, will you be able to tell me okay, whose marks is 780 just by looking at the index number? If I come and say who has got 780 for the exam, you can't tell the name, right? To tell the name, you have to go for the other table. So that is even though there is a data redundancy there, that's important. That's a needed data redundancy. So data redundancy is where the same data is stored in multiple tables. I wrote duplication of data in several locations. Correct? But then just write my answer as well. No? Your answer is the marks. They change name nowadays. For example, that is so unwanted isn't a keyword, right? It is not a keyword in exams, but practically they could keep this loophole in exam. They can give a table like this and tell, is this a problem in data? Is this a redundant problem? Or is the data being redundant in the table? Killer? They can ask you. So just because here and here the data is there, we don't consider that as data redundancy. Can you give an example for redundancy again? Okay, I'll give an example. Now let's say you're a, what do you call this one in the, you're all going to your school. Or let's say I'm going to give you all a exam. Let's say I had 3 exams. In the first term exam, when you're entering your marks, when you're doing the exam paper, you enter your name as ABC Silva. The first term exam. In the second term exam, you mention as AB Kadir Silva. I know this isn't match, but then just go with the flow. In the third term exam, you just mention your name as Arunachalam Bob Kadir Silva. All 3 are same person. Okay, basically we are talking here about ABC Silva. Right? Now imagine in the first term exam, he has mentioned his name like this. Second term exam, he has mentioned his name like this. Third term exam, he has mentioned his name like this. So let's say I have a database, like I have a table, one table to store the first term marks, another table to store the second term marks, another table to store the third term marks. Okay, here also I'm storing the name, here also I'm storing the name, here also I'm storing the name. Okay, I have another table called students table. In that students table also, I'm storing his name as one field. Okay. In the students table, his name might be as just Silva, let's say. Because Silva is the Okay. Totally mixed culture. Yeah, he's a Sri Lankan, proper Sri Lankan, multinational ethnicity killer. He's proving that he's a multi-ethnic citizen of Sri Lanka. Okay. So what do you call it? So fun. Someone Shahid said your name, I guess. That's why I got your name in the title. Okay. So what do you call yeah, he's a mixed person. So the point here what I'm saying is, okay, the point which I'm saying is not his name will be there here in one way, one way, one way, one way. So if you ask me, is it important to store his name in the students table, in the what you call term 1 marks table, in the term 2 marks table, and the term 3 marks in all 4 tables? Is it supposed should we store the name? No. Because this problem can happen. Sometimes you might be confused. Who the hell is Arunachalam Bob Kadir? Similarly, you might be searching the students table. Let's say you want to call this in the third term table. We have a student called Arunachalam Bob Kadir. He has got 30 marks for the exam. You want to call his parent and inform something. You're searching the students table for this Arunachalam Bob Kadir. We have a connect, but you're confused. Where is this fellow? Because why? You have stored the name here and there. But without doing that, without storing the name here as well as also the name there, a better way you could do is the students table, you can give each student an index number. And when you're storing his first term, second term, third term marks without taking their name, you can just take ABC was index number, ABC was index number, ABC was index number. So this will avoid data redundancy. So without using without using the name in all the tables, we could use index number. Okay. So using name here, mention the name here, mention name here, mention the same data in multiple tables. Here in all three tables, we are talking about this bugger's name. So mention the same data in multiple tables. That is what the data redundancy is. Correct? Who knows? I don't know about his history. I just know his name. He's a nice fellow. I don't know his reason. How the hell will I know? I just know he's Sri Lankan. Simple. Isn't 1150 record in marks table repeating? Isn't 1150 in marks table repeating? Again, so is that data duplication? Is a record repeating? Is everything repeating exactly? Data duplication is the same. Did I tell data repeating? Again, see the explanation I'm giving. I didn't say data is repeating. I said same record repeating. What do you mean same record? One record is a whole row. Is a whole row repeating? When you say whole row, all the data has to be repeated. Are all these data repeating? No, no. So it is not data duplication. Data duplication, same row has to be. I'll let you know some later. Is it regards? That guy is first. Why are you going and finding the history of him over? Here we are. Who knows? If you use a name as a primary key, then how can you use a name as a primary key? Do you know the properties of primary key? One thing, the values can't change. Can you give me 100% guarantee that a person will never change his name? No. Okay. The data can't be modified. The data can't be changed. The data can't modify. The data can't be empty. So name as a primary key is not suitable. Can you imagine the name when you name a child? Don't worry, I'll give you a very beautiful name. This is the definition. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, if you mention that part called same data multiple tables or same data multiple location, that's also correct. But the correct one is multiple tables. One mark there. That's fine. That's fine. Adhika. Next, what is the relationship between the two tables? Let's figure it out. A question based on above for you. How can who told like that? Then who told? And who said like that? I don't know anything about relationships. Good. Good that you don't know about it. Anyways, I'll teach you database relationship, not anything else. I can't tell others because what do you call data redundancies where the same data is stored in different ways in different tables, not different ways in different tables. That is called data inconsistency. But you're defining there something called data inconsistency. Different ways. This is basically what I showed example is actually data inconsistency. Data inconsistency is where here he has one name, here he has one name, here he has one name. That's data inconsistency. Data redundancy is where you're storing the name in multiple tables. Why do you want to store the name in multiple tables? Got it? So they say data redundancy can lead to data inconsistency. So if you ask me what is a what cause, if you get a question asking what causes data inconsistency, data redundancy only causes data inconsistency. Correct, Shara? For data redundancy, what is that word you have underlined in red? Unwantedly. Yes. That looks like inconsistent. No, it's unwantedly. Yeah. Blaise Pascal said about it. Anyways, what is the relationship between the two tables? So now let me talk to you all about database relationship, not human relationships. Huh? I'm not good at talking about those bullshit stuffs. Anyways, what do you call to find the relationship between two tables? Don't we have data inconsistency in our syllabus? We do have data inconsistency. First of all, you should know the two tables we have. So what are the two tables we have? One of the tables we have is the students table, right? On the other side, the table we have is a marks table, right? So we are going to find what kind of connection both of them have. Let's see. In any situation like this, we're not going to find the connection between two tables. There's a template I would always ask her to do. Okay. The template I would suggest her to do is first of all mention both the tables' name. After you mention both the tables' name, mention number one here, arrowhead, and a box. Number one here, arrowhead, and a box. For any questions, just follow this blindly. Both the tables' name, one box, and simple. Now you're going to figure out if you take one particular student or else one student in the students table, take a particular student. For example, let's take the fellow called Meena. Okay, one particular student in the students table. Say about the students table. Okay, one record. You can relevant to Meena. How many records are there in the marks table? Only one record or more than one? More than one is many. Okay, only one or many? How many records Meena can have in the marks table? She can have maximum of only one record or maximum many records. Okay, Abdul, but what's the record? Exactly. Meena can have multiple records. You can see Meena when she did the first term exam, she has one record. When she did her second term exam, she had another record. So for every exam she's doing, she's going to have a record. So that means one particular student relevant to them or related to them, they can have multiple records in marks table. So if you have multiple records, write the word called M. If you have only one record, write the word called M. One. Is that part clear? So one student can have multiple records. So they can have multiple records in the marks table, which is relevant to them. Is that clear? If you have any questions, ask. Now let's check from other side. If you take one record in the marks table, for example, if I take this yellow color highlighted record. The first record, the first yellow color highlighted record in the marks table, this can be connected to how many records or that marks can be relevant to how many students in the students table. Only one or many? That particular record is talking right there. They have mentioned that 11150 of 101B3 has marks in first term exam, right? Then marks is relevant to whom? Only one student or many students? Exactly. That marks is relevant to only one student. What is the name of that student that marks is relevant for? That first record in the marks table, which I've highlighted in yellow color and wrote a blue color dot here. That's whose marks? That's marks that can be connected to whom? Exactly. 11150, it is Meena. So one record in the marks table, it can be connected to only one record in students table. So first of all, write these two. Once you write these two, whatever is there in the box is talking about the relationship. So the relationship we have here is, you can see in the first box here, left side box, we have one, right side box, we have m. It's a one-to-many relationship. So there are three types of relationship. One is one-to-one relationship. Other one is one-to-many relationship. Other one is many-to-many relationship. So if it's a one-to-one relationship, here also you will have one, here also you will have one. In both the boxes, basically you'll have one. If it's one-to-one relationship. If it's a one-to-many relationship, here you will have one, here you will have m. Or sometimes here you will have one, here you will have m. Both are possible. Huh? The positions can change. It's just that one box will have one, other box will have m. Okay, if it's a many-to-many relationship, both the box will have m. Simply, that's how you figure out that. Just see how many records relevant to Meena is there. So how relevant to one record students table, it can join to or it can be connected to how many records marks table. Relevant to that person, how many records there in the second table. That's how you check. Anyone have any questions here? So is mother-child relationship mother-child relationship is like one mother can have. That's basically, I don't. There's no connection with that because, to be honest, the connection of database relationships and what do you call that is a bit. Normally, people try teaching that using that only, like father, mother, brother, sister, and all those stuff. I feel like going in a practical way, like how the actual way is better because that has a lot of various perspectives. Like you try to connect siblings relationship, parents relationship, you have different perspectives you can deal. So leaving. Give me a minute, guys. Can you explain that again? Which part? Which part, Mister? Give me a minute. Sorry. After the first row, M. Again, I'll do it. Show the data redundancy class, RD. Yeah. So what I was saying there is, Rushta, after the first row, first arrow M. First arrow M means, so Rushta. First arrow M. Okay. What I'm talking about is connection between two tables. I'll just show you using another example for more clarity. Okay, you have here something called instruments, students table instruments, not enough data on a big table. Big table. Oh, okay, it's a big table. You have here the author table, book table, and author underscore book table. Okay. So let's try to figure out the connection between the book table and author underscore book table. Okay. So if you want to find the connection between these two tables, first of all, write the two tables name. What are the two tables name? I'll mention it book table, and here I will mention author table, author underscore book. These are two tables. Step number one, write the two tables name. Then I ask you to create the template. What template? Write number one here, draw an arrow, put a box. Write number one here, draw an arrow, put a box. These are template, any database relationship questions. These are pattern. Name, one box, one box. Up to here, are you clear? Okay. Now you want to figure out in the author underscore book table, we are going to figure out how many records relevant to one book is there. So for example, if I take a particular book, like let's say this book called Science for Everyone. Okay. Relevant, the book called what you call Science for Everyone, that can be connected to how many records maximum in the author underscore book table. Only one record maximum or more than one record in the author underscore book table. One or more. Exactly. Are you actually blind? See, this was a book number three. This was a book number three. So with the given data itself, there's two records you can connect it to. Okay, but you have to practically think in these kind of questions. Sometimes they could give the database with not repeating data as well. So when you have to again think, could there be a situation we can enter? Could there be a situation we can enter? So always think properly. Always don't expect them to give data like this. Okay. So yeah, relevant to one book. One book can be connected to see multiple records in the author underscore book. So if you can connect one record here to multiple records here, then write M. If you can connect one record here to only one record there, then it's one. Okay. Like for example, if I take one record in the author underscore book, like for example, I take this record. Now this record can be connected to how many records? This is one record. One record in the author underscore book table. One record here can be connected to how many records in the book table. This record which I circle in red color. It's the book relevant to that can be a book. Okay, that can be a record relevant to how many books? One book or many books? That's a different scenario, Nitin. This is talking about a situation where one book can be written by more than one people. Like for example, take a textbook. In the first few pages of a textbook, go and see. They would have mentioned multiple people who contributed in writing the textbook. Yes, the second record, the red color circle record, this can be connected to only B03 because why? We're talking about B03 here. Not any other books. No. Okay, that green color highlight record is talking about B03. Okay, so that can be record that can be connected to a maximum of only one record. So now what you do is whatever is there in the box you write, that's one here, in here. The relationship is a one-to-many relationship. Got it? Perfect. Anyone having any questions? Any other questions? Yes, Umar, wait. Here you go. Okay, others mark your answers and tell me out of 10 marks, how many marks you have got? We are on day 20 today. 18 more paper classes. Is it? I don't count it actually. All of you, check your marks out of 10, let me know how marks. Out of 10, and tell me how marks are got. Good. Your others have any questions, drop your question in the chat. Okay, it's 6:30, so we're done for the day. If you have any questions, you can stay now, otherwise you can leave. We're done. Let me the class. If you're keeping it, can you keep it as soon as after the exam? Sorry. The exam will be this week, so after that. I will post the exam details in the respective communities later. Just check it within the day. Multimedia will come for MCQs for part two. Yeah, you can leave the rest of the day. If you have any questions, drop your question in the chat and you can leave. I mean, if you have a question, you can drop your question and wait. Others, you can drop your marks in if you don't have any questions. Welcome. Bye-bye. Can you explain data inconsistency? Yes, I'll explain. Give me a moment. See. Okay. Okay, done. So what do you call first of all, let me talk about, there were two questions asked. One was to talk about data in, sorry, many-to-many relationship. Other one was to talk about data inconsistency. Normally, let's say we have two tables, two or more tables. Okay. So let's say I have a table here called the students table. Let's say, so I'll use Google Sheet for more easiness. Let's say I have a table called students table, and let's say students table has something called index number or don't have index number. It has a field called name. It has a field called contact number, and it has a field called address. Okay, let's say these are the fields we have in a students table. Okay. And let's say apart from students table, let's say I have another table called marks table. Okay. So here, let's say I'm going to store the name of the student or student name, exam name, marks. And let's say what you call that here also I'm going to have a couple of records. For example, let's say I'm going to have three students called Amal, Bimal, Chamal, let's say Emily, or Dimal, and Emily. And let's say this is their contact numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's say Amal and Bimal are siblings. Random phone numbers I'm mentioning. And let's say they have some random addresses as well. Let's call this ABC, DQR, XYZ, and let's say element EFG. Example, just random address I put. This is not real address. Yeah. Now let's say Amal has done his first term exam. So I'll be like Amal. He has done his. Let's say this is talk about ICT class. Okay. He has done his grade 10 first term exam, and he has got 50 marks. The same Amal, he did his second term exam, and he got 75 marks. Then Bimal, he did his grade 10 ICT first term exam. He got 85 marks. And Bimal, he did his grade 11, grade 10 third term exam and got 95 marks. And we have Chamal, or we have again Amal. This time, when he's doing the exam paper, he has his full name, let's say, Amal Silva. Okay. Amal Silva has got for the same Amal, it's not different Amal, same Amal. He has got for his grade 10 third term exam 85 marks. These are marks. Now, we have the students' names. Every student's name is stored here as well. Every student's name is stored here as well. Okay. Apart from name, I'll add one more thing as well. Let's say I'm going to store the contact number here as well. So let's say Amal's contact number is this one. Amal's contact number is this. I'll just change Amal's contact number from this. Okay. Now, if you take the name, the student's name, how many places are we storing the student's name? How many places in the sense, how many tables are we storing the student's name? Perfect. We are storing the student's name in two places. We are storing the marks table as well as we are storing the student's table. Apart from storing the student's name in two tables, are there any other fields we are storing the same data is stored in multiple tables? Apart from the student's name, are there anything else that same data is there stored in multiple tables? Yes or no? Which field? Exactly. We have the contact name here also stored, contact here also stored. So the same data stored in multiple tables. This is data redundancy. Is this part clear? Because without knowing data redundancy, you can't go for data inconsistency. First of all, are you clear what data redundancy is? Even this is also data redundancy. Yeah? Name is stored here and name is stored here. This is also redundancy. And then look at the two tables and tell me redundancy. Is there data duplication anywhere in this whole database? Like if you consider this database has two tables, by looking at the two data tables, tell me, are there any data duplications visible? What do you think? Actually speaking, there is data duplication. Even though you can see this as two different, if you look at these two records, even though his name is here as written as Amal Silva and here is written as Amal, even though the names here are different, are we talking here about two different people? Are we talking about the same person here? Is it two different people or the same person? Same or different? Exactly. It was the same person. So you can see Amal's marks is mentioned here as well. Amal's third term marks is mentioned here as well. So basically, Amal's third term marks has been recorded twice. That is called data duplication. It doesn't always have to be the exact same spellings. It just has to be the exact same data. Okay. It just has to be the exact same data. Simple. It can be simple letters, capital letters, mistakes when the below, but the same data. Here was Amal, here's Amal, here was 077, here's 077. Okay, the who can say same data. What is this data talking about? Basically, same record. What is this record talking about? This record is talking about that there is this fellow called Amal, he has got 85 marks for third term test. What is this record talking about? There is a fellow called Amal, he has got third term marks 85. So if I ask you to explain those records, for both of those records, you're going to give the same explanation. There is no different explanation you're going to give. Same explanation you're going to give for both those records. Right? So this is what you call as data duplication. Is that part clear? Perfect. Now, you can avoid data redundancy by doing something. Okay, there is one way how you can avoid data redundancy. How you can avoid data redundancy is when you want to create a connection between two tables. Okay, or when you want to show that, okay, this marks is relevant to this student or whatever. When you want to form a connection between two tables, without using a random field to identify the student, we created something called as primary key and foreign key concept. So we'll okay, let's have in one column let's give them a value, like let's assign a unique value, and let's reference that unique value here. We thought of creating a connection. Okay, so to solve data redundancy only, we created something called as foreign key and primary key. So how can you solve data redundancy here? We can add a new field to the mark students table. For the students table, we can go and add a field called index number. Okay, I'm going to add a field called index number. For each student, I'm going to give a unique index number. Okay, so each student now has a unique index number. And then what I'm going to do is, without using the student's name to form a connection, I'm going to use the index number field to form a connection. So I'm going to say this is all index number 1, index number 1, index number 2, index number 2, index number 1, index number 1. Okay. And is it necessary to store the contact number here? That column G. Is it necessary there? No. Okay, I can remove this. And then you can see there are two data repeating after I did this. So I can just remove this data and I can keep the data like this. Now I had done a cleaning process. Okay, I have cleaned the whole data and now the database is very perfect. We normally call this as normalization of database. This part called normalization, you will not learn in all levels, in the nail levels. So we both that part. But now let me talk about data inconsistency. Now, if you notice here, in this table, is there data redundancy in this table, in this database? Sorry. If you look at this database, is there data redundancy? What do you think? Yes or no? Is there data redundancy? Yes or no? There is data redundancy. What is the column or what is the data that is redundant? There is data redundancy. What is the column that is redundant here? Index number, exactly. But is it a problem? Is index number having here and here? Is it a problem? Is there any issues we can have because of this? Is it a problem for us? No. So this in redundancy we can ignore. Having a redundancy like this, we can ignore. Yeah, keeping the data like this, not a problem. We can ignore it. But imagine something like this. Okay, now imagine the first these two tables now. Now, if you see, okay, let's remove this duplicate data as well to avoid unwanted confusion. Now, I have the student's name here as well. I have the student's name here as well. Is this data redundancy? Yes or no? Is this data redundancy? Yes or no? Yes, yes, man. Didn't you still understand what is data redundancy? Data redundancy is where the same data is stored in multiple tables. What is the data stored here? Student's name. What is the data stored here? Student's name. No, no. We are storing the student's name here as well. We are storing the student's name here as well. Same date stored in multiple tables. So Amal's name is stored here as well. Amal's name is stored here as well. So this is data redundancy. Is that part clear? Same data stored in multiple tables. It doesn't have to be the value. I'm not talking about the value. I'm talking about what is the data we are storing. Here also we are storing the students' names. Here also we are storing the students' name. So there is data redundancy here. Is that part clear? Got it? Perfect. Okay. Now, you told me that here and here we have data redundancy. You all said me these yellow color highlighted columns have data redundancy. Similarly, earlier you all told me that this green color highlighted column has data redundancy. When I ask you, is this green color column a problem for us? Let me make a line green. You all said green color being redundant is not a problem. It's not a problem. Okay. But the yellow color highlighted columns, those being redundant, if you ask me, is it a problem? Yes, it is a problem. Why is it a problem? Is because you can see the same fellow called Amal. Here his name is Amal. Here his name is Amal. Here his name is Amal. But here his name is Amal Silva. So all four places, are we talking about four different students? Or in all four places, we are talking about the same student, same or different? These four names I have circled Amal, right? They're same or different people? Same people. But in all four places, is a data called Amal? Is it recorded in the same exact way in all the places? Wherever it's recorded, is it recorded same places, same way? No. So you can see Amal has given his name like this in Monday. Amal has given his name like this in Monday. This is basically data inconsistency. Data inconsistency is where the same data is stored in different ways or different forms in different places. Here one way, here there in one way. Sometimes here his name can be Amal Silva or Amal ABC Amal Kila. Okay, that's basically what we call as data inconsistency. So let's say I might have his name is Amal. Let's say AB Amal. Or like SW Amal or SA Amal. Random. So this is data inconsistency. Got it? Same data in different ways. Here, technically, we're talking about the same student. All are talking the same Amal pillar only. But here Amal's way is stored in one place, there another place, and then another place. That's what data inconsistency is. Okay. Some practical scenarios where this will happen is, if you're coming to physical classes, if you're coming to physical class academy, you will be getting something called as attendance sheet. What do you all do in the attendance sheet? In the attendance sheet, you all will be mentioning your name. After you mention your name, you'll be mentioning your signature. Okay, these are two things you might mention in the attendance sheet, right? Now, what will happen is now you have every month you get a new attendance sheet. So you'll have one attendance sheet for August. In the August attendance sheet, you might just write only the word called Yusuf. Sometimes there could be two different Yusufs in the class as well. In the September attendance sheet, when you're marking a signature, you might go and mention here, let's say MY Ismail. This is my full name technically. Then not women. So here also it's me only who signed. Here also it's me only who signed. Both of this is same person. But here his name is Yusuf. Here is him same by Ismail. This is data inconsistent. The same person's data in two different places, it's there in two different ways. Got it? So if you ask me what is the cause for data redundancy, what is the cause for data inconsistency? Data inconsistency is caused due to data redundancy. Now, for example, if you have a table like this, here there is unwanted data redundancy. But normally the cause for data inconsistency is data redundancy. If there is no redundancy, there is no inconsistency. Got it? Perfect. Now let me answer many to many relationships. Okay. So is it like in data redundancy, the field is impacted and data inconsistency, the rows are impacted? Not exactly. Data redundancy is somewhat about field only, correct? Okay. Like it's about field, but it's mainly when the fields are there unwanted. Really, we consider that as a problem. So data redundancy can be there here without a problem, the green color highlight part, and here it's a problem. So if you ask me what is the problem it can have, that problem only is called data inconsistency. What is data inconsistency? Data inconsistency is not about the rows are impacted. Data inconsistency is about the data is impacted. The word row is not suitable to call it. So call it as the data is impacted, like the values. So for example, if someone comes and asks you, what do you call, let's say we have a table like this without the contact number. Like if I come and ask you, what is this fellow's contact number? Okay, finding his contact number might be difficult. Okay, or else actually another issue for data inconsistency. Okay, now we have Amal here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now if I come and ask you what is Amal's phone number, do you have an exact number? Wait, is there an exact number of Amal which you can, but like I tell you, okay, this is exactly Amal's correct phone number. If I ask what is Amal's phone number, look at the current top part of the database, yellow color database, and tell me what do you call the, hide this. Look at the database and tell me, if I ask what is Amal's phone number, is it easy for you to exactly, okay, this is Amal's phone number? You'll be able to tell it properly. I'll make your work more easy. I'll make your work more easy. Okay, wait, sorry. Okay. Now, if I ask you, what do you call Amal's phone number? How many different phone numbers of Amal you have here? Here, Amal has one phone number. Number one has one phone number. Here, Amal has another phone number. And here, Amal has another phone number. So, how many phone numbers Amal has here? If I ask you how many phone numbers, how many possible numbers you could come with? You could come with 4 different numbers. So, data consistency is where if I ask you what is Amal's phone number, in everywhere you would have the same number. But in everywhere, are we having the same number? No. So can you see there's a data inconsistency here? Here Amal's phone number is something, there Amal's phone number is something. Here and there Amal's phone number is having 2 different values. This is data inconsistency. We could solve this data inconsistency by a way. How we could solve data inconsistency is avoid unwanted data redundancy. Here was having contact number, here was having contact number. Without contact number in both the places, we can just make sure we put the contact number only in the student's page. Now, is there possibilities for that data inconsistency? I mean, based on the contact number. For the contact number, now is there data inconsistency? No. Now, if someone is changing the phone number, he has to come and update in the student's database, student's table. So this is data. Now here we can say data is consistent, or data has, we can say data consistency. Earlier there was no data consistency. Due to data consistency, it's hard to make decisions. Correct. Not exactly make decisions. It's hard to, what do you call, find certain data. This mainly happens in contact numbers and addresses situations. Like for example, when you are registering for the academy, you will have the physical system in the academy, you will have the online master online website. The same fellow in master online website, he might put one contact number. When registering the academy, he has put a different contact number. So we are like, is this that bugger's contact number or is this his contact number? That's data inconsistency. Got it? Okay, coming back to okay. Many to many table. Now here you can see three tables. Okay. Welcome. Okay, guys. Let's say I want to see the connection between, yes, because every Tuesdays it happens from. I'll share the link of the group. So you can join the group, and that group has the paper class links will be posted every Tuesdays. Copy link, paste. Okay, let's say we had the students table and the instrument table. Look at both the table and tell me, are there any columns or any data that is common for both these tables? Yes, because look at the student table, look at the instrument tables, and tell me, are there any data that are common? No, there is nothing that is common. There is no data that is common. Right here we have student's ID, the student's name, and the student's grade. Here we have the instrument's ID, instrument's name, and instrument received on. This is talking about donating instrument for the school and borrowing them. There is no common. So in situations where there is no common itself, from that itself, mostly you can figure it out. It's a many-to-many relationship, but let's be more. Let's have more clarity. Okay. I asked for the template. No, one. Okay. So there is nothing common. So therefore, we can't easily connect it. But is there a third? No, this is if there is no connection, we'll go for this. Okay. When there is nothing common in both the tables, now look at the whole database and tell me, is there another table that has data relevant for the student as well as that has data relevant for the instruments? Is there another table that has data relevant for the student but SID? Nicely open your eyes and tell me, are these two same? Show me SID in the instrument table. Open eyes and tell me which field is SID instrument table. Is the first field, second field, third field? Coming back to my question. These two tables, there is no direct connections. Is there a third table? Okay, is there any other tables that has data relevant for the student as well as has data relevant for the instrument? Both these people's data is their central place which you can notice it at. Yes or no? Yes. Which table? Perfect. It's the borrowing table. You can see borrowing table, it has data relevant for the instrument table. It has data relevant for the students table as well. Then data, commonly it's there here. It's like, for example, two friends are there, two people are there. They don't directly know each other. But this fellow knows him, this is this bugger's friend. Okay. So for example, if I take Amal, Bimal, and Chamal, Amal does not know Chamal directly. But Amal knows Chamal through Bimal. Okay, so sometimes let's say Amal wants to buy some things from Bimal. Let's say Bimal has a shop that sells phones. Okay, let's say Amal wants to buy something from Chamal. Amal does not know Chamal directly. So what Amal will do is Amal knows that Bimal has a friend called Chamal, and that friend he sells phone. So Amal will be like, hey Bimal, can you do a small help for me? You have a friend called Chamal, right? Can you ask him to buy me phone? Like, can you ask him the phone? Something like that. So Bimal knows Amal, Bimal knows Chamal. Bimal is a mutual person between both of them. Amal and Chamal, they don't have any direct communication. That kind of a scenario. Anyways, come back to here. So in situations where two tables doesn't have direct communication, we get the help of a third table. And when you're filling the box, we fill the box respective to the third table. Okay. So now we're going to fill like this. First thing, I'll call it letter A. Will you? This is talking about letter A. The connection of Amal. Tell me one student, one record in the student's table. This can be connected to how many records in the borrowing table. One student can have record in the borrowing table how many times? Only once? How many times? Once or many? Exactly. He can have many. Today he can go and borrow one instrument. Tomorrow he can go and borrow another instrument. For every borrowing he's going to do, there's going to be a record. So even the given data, you can see S004. That is Nuwan. Nuwan has borrowed on 1st of January. Nuwan has also borrowed on 1st of March. See, one student can have multiple borrowings. So I'm going to mention him there. Now let's see the other one. Okay. Now again, what you call instrument table and students table, they don't have direct communication. So they're going to see the borrowing table. Okay. So if you look at the borrowing table, I'll consider letter B. One student, so one instrument relevant to one student, one relevant to one instrument. How many records can there be in the borrowing table? Relevant to a specific instrument, how many records there could be in the borrowing table? A specific instrument can be mentioned how many times? Only once, how many? For example, if I ask trumpet, if I ask how many records can this trumpet be connected to, this trumpet can be connected to only one record or multiple records. Exactly. It can be connected to this record as well as this record. So many records. So now if you see both the box has a many-to-many relationship. Always keep in mind, you can't create many-to-many relationship with just only two tables. You always need the help of a third table to create the many-to-many relationship. So this first communication is talking about students to borrowing. Third, this is B is talking about instrument borrowing. Is that clear? Perfect. Anyone having any other questions? Welcome. Okay, so as there's no other questions, I'm going to end the meeting. If there's anything, you can WhatsApp me and get them clarified. Have a nice day.